as a director, I've only picked up my own scripts. You have to get a grip on your rationale and learn to control your emotions. I have fallen in love with the city, and there's a deep connect with it. I went to Kashmir, I started reading up on its history, and that's when the connect began. It was initially called Rajat Rate. I was not in the mindset to write a full original play, and I came from a film school, but I was not getting.
For Mumbai Theatre Guide. Today I'm privileged and very delighted to be in conversation with Purva Naresh, and she is a multifaceted personality, FTII graduate, writer, director, actor, dancer and a musician, and she also plays pakhwaj. So it's going to be fun talking to you, Purva. I am sure Purva is all set to launch her latest venture, which is Chandani Ratein. It's adaptation of Dostoevsky's very popular story, White Nights. So let me start by asking you at the outset, how did this Chandani Ratein come about, Purva?
So, how did it come about? Because I'm an original playwright, and like I write original scripts. I usually write my own scripts. I दूसरे लोगों के नाटक मैंने अभी तक तो नहीं किया as a director. I might have admired those plays, but as a director, I've only picked up my own scripts. So yes, this is my I think my second adaptation, maybe for myself. I mean, actually directed by me, first adaptation. No, second actually. एक किताब adapt की थी मैंने, but again that was not directed by me. So yes, this is my first adaptation, Chandani Ratein, which I am directing myself for me. So the adaptation is done by me. 2 years ago, I had gone to Moscow, and my father's book was getting released over there. So we'd gone on a family vacation, me, my bhabhi, my nephew, my dad, my partner. And we also then, it was June and my birthday, and we went to St. Petersburg, and we realized it's during that period that White Nights also happened.
Oh.
And yes, so we were in St. Petersburg during the White Nights, and so I had to get my hands onto a Hindi translation of White Nights over there to read it in that period, right? And it was my birthday also, and I remember White Nights as
Gemini.
Yes, and I also remember White Nights as the first film that I saw at film school.
Okay.
And was completely overwhelmed and had come out crying because we were shown 3 films at a trot. One was White Nights, the other one was La Strada, and one was Wages of Fear. And all 3 are tragedies. And so when I came out, I remember my entire batch was probably sniffling and crying and saying, "Ki, we don't want to be here anymore. This is such a depressing world, and like we want to go back home. We can't be crying every day." And then our seniors told us that you have to get a grip on your rationale and learn to control your emotions. And while you're flexing your muscles as storytellers, you have to understand the difference when you're being between totally emotional stories and also telling stories with more reason and more not manipulating people emotionally and stuff like that. So anyway, that was White Nights had stayed with me. And then I was in Moscow, and then I was invited for a theatre seminar to St. Petersburg last October, so like about 5-6 months ago. And I have fallen in love with the city, and there's a deep connect with it. And already, like in I think three trips, I've been there 3 times now. So yes, and so when I was asked to pitch something for Adyam, last play was set in Kashmir zone, and I have a deep connect with Kashmir also. And it's not like I've always had the deep connect. I went to Kashmir, I started reading up on its history, and that's when the connect began.
Right.
And so similarly, when I was in St. Petersburg and I was reading White Nights, the connect began, and I remembered the film from my film school days. And then when Adim asked me, "Do you want to pitch something this year?" I thought, why not? I mean, if I have to do something, I did not have a ready script. I was not in the mindset to write a full original play and do it so quickly.
And adapt it to.
Yes. So I said, okay, I'll do an adaptation, and why not White Nights? and that way I can relive my memories of St. Petersburg,
Yeah.
my film school days, the film. And I also realized that the film is very popular with cinema directors because some
Okay.
11 directors have done it in various languages, from Visconti in Italian to Bresson in French to Mr. Bhansali in Hindi to Iranian directors to directors in the UK or US. But I didn't come across
So
any
Bansali's is which one?
Savaria.
Savaria is.
Yeah, and I think Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, the plot is
from-
is a tribute to the film, and then later he made a proper tribute. I think the plot is the same. The girl conflicted between the promised lover and the lover she finds, and I mean the love interest she finds,
Right.
while she's separated from that lover. So yes, so I mean I saw many screen versions, but I didn't see a single stage adaptation even on the internet in any country in any language. And I'm sure they exist, but I couldn't find them.
Right.
And then someone told me that NSD mein someone has done a dialogue workshop, some scene work with students, and they have a script, but they never staged it. And none of these versions really have worked, other than maybe Visconti. They're not huge commercial successes. Like even Savaria, I don't think was a
No,
huge
it
commercial
wasn't.
success. So there's something about the story that attracts storytellers and authors, but it's always a risk to tell the story because.
Yeah.
But you're fascinated by it nevertheless. So I thought I'll try and do the stage version. Since Adyam is asking me for a pitch, I put in the pitch. They loved the story, the concept, and they said go ahead. So here I am trying to do Chandni Ratein. It was initially called Rajat Ratein.
Okay.
But then the apprehension is that the younger audiences
May not
don't
be
watch
able
Olympics
to.
on television,
Yeah.
so they will not hear Rajat
Correct.
Padak,
Yes.
or we now don't have thanks to
Context may
multiplexes.
be lost.
Yes, so now multiplexes, because of multiplexes, you also don't have golden and silver jubilees of films,
Yeah.
right? Now, no film runs, I mean, very few films run to silver jubilee, so you don't even have Rajat Jayanti.
Correct.
So, people will not understand Rajat. So, let's do Chandni Ratein, and there's a popular recall to it also. And I was like, okay, I'll do white. I'm doing white nights. कैसे भी करा लो, कोई भी नाम दो.
That's
But I think Chandni
wonderful.
Ratein is a nice name. It has, for some, I mean, for most people, it'll connect with
Yes, it's
something.
instantly it draws you in.
Yeah.
Chandni
Wow. So
Ratein.
then they are
Yes.
validated.
Absolutely. So how do you go about narrating the story musically? Is it going to be a musical?
So it's not a musical in the strictest
But
sense
you are
of the
woven
word.
in music?
Yes, of course, because a lot of my stories I realize I want to tell through music because
Yeah.
probably because I'm a musician myself and I come from a family of musicians. But surprisingly, here I've stepped out of my comfort zone to explore a new sound, and I'm quite thrilled by it actually because it's turned out quite overwhelming.
Which
the music. I have Kaisad Gherda, who does a lot of Western classical playing, and I'm using Nautanki and classical bandishes, and I'm also using a couple of folk Russian popular tunes.
Okay.
So yeah, we're trying to stir up a new sound, and it has a good peppering of music, and it's quite interesting. But I won't say it's a musical, really.
Right.
Yeah, but
So-
there's lovely music.
So we'll get to see hear your pakwad somewhere in between?
No, not
Have you
with
thrown in-
Kaisad in the music.
No
bit,
way?
no,
Not
no
even through
Bakawaj,
Nautanki.
no.
Right. So now that the time, I mean, these are times when if I am coming to your play, the first thing I'll ask is what's in it for us as audience?
There's a love story. There's a lot of drama. There's lovely music. There's this interesting mix of humor with a story that is classic and almost classical. And there is this interesting mix of humor with pathos or tragedy. So we're trying to do a lot of interesting mixes in the room, and I'm sure the audience would find all shades of drama, from pathos to humor to intense drama to tragedy to everything. So yeah.
Right. And it has that literary worth, as you said.
And literary worth is there, and I'm also
Yeah.
I'm also trying to
Always
pepper it
good
with
to know.
poems and shares, nazms. So
Yeah.
we're trying to make it as literary a piece of, because it's an ode to a great writer.
Absolutely.
So-
How, this is a very sweet story. So, how did you go about picking your cast? It's not easy to pick a
Yes.
cast for this
So
one.
if you come for the play, and those who
Of
come
course
for the
we are
play,
coming.
those who come for the play, the cast is a very interesting mix of actors who also sing impeccably,
Oh.
very beautiful, and some very powerful voices in the room.
Wonderful.
And that was my first criteria.
So,
but
that's live.
that's live singing, and there's a live band on stage. Yes.
That's really exciting. So, what's been the most challenging part about this play for you?
So the most challenging part has been to find the style to tell a story where my style is not totally, because I'm also adapting it as a writer. So as a writer, I'm not overpowering the style of the story of the original,
Right.
and yet making it my own. So how do I do an adaptation, make it my own, and still retain the originality? Yeah. Also, the challenge has been that though 200, it's a story almost 200 years old, and now with the in the current times, people may not find it relevant, or may not find it anything that they would might find, what's the word for
Connect.
it, might find any connect with it. So that's what was baffling at first, that how do I retell the story with current context, and what are those contexts, and how do I make it more relevant, and what are the problems that today's woke lens might have on the story, which is 200 years old, and which is
Still very relevant as
how do I make it relevant, and and it is relevant because it's a classic, and classics
Yes.
are forever relevant,
forever.
right? You need to find those elements in them, and that is why they're
Correct.
classics. So that was a true challenge. How to not make it totally mine and keep it Dostoevskian, and what is Dostoevskian?
Yes.
Because Dostoevsky is not usually taught in schools anymore. Not
No,
really.
no.
I did not have Dostoevsky
no,
in
no,
my
no,
curriculum.
no, I haven't ever.
Shakespeare is.
We
and-
read, but we don't study it, as you
yeah,
rightly
but we
said.
read because we're also journalists or
And
writers,
we are
or
involved in it.
we're interested in reading literature. But what about the common man?
Yes.
And Adyam's audience is, a lot of it is the common person, and not just theatre community.
Correct.
So how do I make it relevant, and who is Dostoevsky for them? Because
Right.
Shakespeare everybody knows. I mean, most people know
Yes, of
Shakespeare,
course.
right? We're a colonized nation, so we know Shakespeare for sure. So Shakespeare you can do in most formats, and people will still know the plot, and they will still find the characters engaging and familiar. But in Dostoevsky's world, it is a very esoteric world.
Yes.
It is a very, very activist world. It is a world that does not even exist in USSR, doesn't exist anymore. So what is then the meat of the
Those
story?
elements
What
that
are
you
those
get.
elements? And who is Dostoevsky when in the land of Shakespeare?
Yeah.
To find that, we're still trying to figure that, and it's a very interesting exploration, and I think the audience would also enjoy us having explored that and bringing to them this exploration.
I'm really sure about that. Now, what traits do you value the most in yourself and in your team? Because the theater is all about teamwork, isn't it?
Sure.
And unless you know this is what I want, how would you go about? What are those values that you look for in yourself?
So yes, I can definitely, and thank you for asking that question, because I seldom do auditions, and I'm being criticized by my creative producers and my creative team a lot, that why don't you hold auditions, and why do you just cast people that you know, because sometimes that can lead to complications where people
Yes.
want to take a few days off, or want you to be a little easy on them and stuff like that, and you have to be also. So I realized when I analyzed this question, when I was posed with it, that why do you not hold auditions, I realized that I am a very instinctive person, and that sometimes triggers chaos. It means that my instinct is going to overpower any kind of organized planning. And I am going to follow my heart. No matter how much we may have created, I may just go and uncreate and create a new. So, and I'm waiting for those impulses to kick in. Actually, half the time I'm just creating for plan B, and my plan A kicks in just like a few days before the show. I'm like, okay, now we have plan B, but now let's do plan A, right?
Yeah.
So fail safe कर लिया, अभी let's take some risks. So I think because of that, the chaos that happens, the production and the direction team finds it very difficult to deal with. And then I realized I cast from people I know, because I instinctively know that these people will walk the distance to make that plan A happen.
So it'll go
And
swimmingly.
they'll take the risk with me. They will not be like, oh no,
Yeah.
we've already done this, we're not going to undo this. A. B, whatever complications that chaos brings, they will bend over backwards to, so even if it means working extra hours, or suddenly me having to ask them to do new lines or new blocking, they would do it.
So it's the comfort
they would
zone
put in
that
the
you
extra,
want to look.
yes, they would put in the extra hard work,
Yeah.
extra work and then hard work
Yeah.
to make it happen. And for that, if I have to be a little, like give them a few leeways, then that's okay. But that really bothers my team. So it's my chaos, I admit, and it's my team's desire to make it work, and their passion about the play that that really is the boon, and that's what I look for in people.
So as a director, you are the captain of the ship. What do you think makes you a good leader?
Oh, I think what makes me a good leader is to realize that I'm the most empowered in the room. Positional authority is mine. And so I should learn to be more compassionate, and I should, and sometimes I'm not, but most times I'm exercising that restraint, and to be more compassionate and to understand that power imbalance should not exist in room. And
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah, it's a struggle sometimes to remind yourself
I know.
that just because you can, you shouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about your association with Adyam, the work you've done, and the comfort zone that you have created for yourself with them and they with you.
Right. So,
It's a mutual thing, I
yes.
guess.
So my first play with Adyam, I think, was in 2014, and by that time, I think Adyam had done 3 seasons already, and I was the first woman director. I was the first original script, I think, and I was the probably second or third Hindi play, or maybe the first original script in Hindi that they did. So there were 3 news with me, and I was also probably the youngest of all the directors. No, maybe not. Akash might have been that, but I was definitely younger than the batch that year. Like there was Rajat, there was Sunil, someone else also, I'm forgetting the name, but there were, more senior directors, forget younger, forget age,
Yeah.
but even senior in terms of their profile, their work, their experience. And they took a risk with me. And when I pitched to Mr. Birla, I just had a one line. I did not have the script on me. I just pitched him a one line. And
So you pitch it directly to him?
no, I get shortlisted. So we put in
Yeah,
our
but
pitch.
you
We
do
asked,
finally meet him.
yes, we do meet him, and he's the one who makes the panel list.
Right.
So there's a short list that is curated by artistic directors, and then they take it to Mr. Birla, and then they help him decide, of course. But it's his selection finally, and there was no script, and there was no PowerPoint presentation. There was nothing. I just had a one line, and I had a few ideas. I had a vision, and he just tapped into that, and he said, "Go ahead and make it." And since then, this is my 4th play with them. And I think they've definitely given me a leg up, because that year the artistic director was Divya Bhatia.
Yeah.
And he had told me that one of the aims of Adyam is to give a leg up to young directors, or young meaning directors
Yeah,
who
who
are starting,
are
just starting their
emerging.
journey, and emerging directors, yeah. And also directors who need a little leg up in terms of breaking into the bigger circuit, like better budgets to attract better acting talent, bigger actors, a slate of 10 shows, bigger publicity. So, some senior actors would recognize us and would want to work with us if they've seen some of our earlier work. and also perform and take our work to bigger audiences, audience pools. So I truly was that person who got the leg up, and ever since then, I think I have done most of my plays, most of my body of work since then has been empowered by Adyam's grants.
That's really nice. Coming back to Chandni Ratein, Chandni Ratein, when you have adapted it, has it been Indianized? And have you brought in Lucknow, Suriname, all your influences
Oh my God,
into
no.
it?
Well, I think Lucknow in my language, because my language is Hindustani. It is not like pure Hindi. But though in this one, when I read out the play to my father, he said, Hindi अनुवाद पढ़ा था क्या? Did you read a Hindi translation of Rajat Raat? I mean, did you read a Hindi translation of White Nights? And I said, I read Rajat Raat. And he said, yeah, that's why it's the Hindis reflect, that Hindi is reflecting in your script this time. And I said, but Papa, I really want to use this language because I think this language, like as I said, Rajat Raat was not the title that was chosen. So I said, this language is actually getting lost, and I have used the word prem in the script. I could have used ishq because that comes more easily to me. But ishq has been appropriated by Bollywood so much that just because people will know it, I want to use prem.
Yeah.
And it's a very and prem has become a very textbook word, but I want to probably put it back in the mainstream lingo as much as possible. I mean, how much mainstream can you go with theatre? But at least back in that orbit. So yeah, so the language is slightly more is slightly different than what I have been using. So Lucknow, yes, definitely, of course, because I can't escape that language that has been fed into me since I was a child. But Suriname, no, not really. But how I have Indianized it is some of the characters are Indian. The language is Hindi of the play. Play is set in St. Petersburg.
So geographically, it'll be Russia.
St. Petersburg, because it's such a beauty to the city.
Yeah.
I did not want to take it away from there. It is so two characters are from India. The music is very India meets Western world, almost East Europeanish. Well, we couldn't go full East Europeanish because we couldn't afford like a Bella Laika player or like those instruments. But as much Eastern European we could do. But forget afford, we couldn't even find them. But Indianization, there are tadkas. And then there are and then the music is a mix. The language is there, the ethos is there. The style of storytelling is very Indian, and like for us, Nautanki is the most is the folk form that comes closest to opera.
Yeah.
It's not exactly opera, but it comes closest to opera because it is sung dialogue. So we are not singing our dialogues, but we are telling some story, a very important plot point through a sung piece. So that's borrowing from the Nautanki, and it's a Nautanki tune that we have used, the Bhairet Tabil. So and then we've westernized the arrangement. So we've done things
That'll
like
be
that.
interesting.
Yeah, and to suddenly see Russian speaking Hindi is a little, but it's interesting at the same time. So yeah, we also are experimenting with two actors, experimenting with accents. Let's see whether we take the final call on that or not. But yeah, I mean, it's all very interesting.
Say something about your actors specifically.
Well, I have a wonderful array of actors this time in the room.
Absolutely,
So
right.
Girija,
Stunning.
yes, Girija comes blessed with a beautiful voice and is very, very alive as an actor. There's Mantra, who's very popular, charming voice, and has so much experience,
Yes.
having worked on himself so much, brings such a huge and brings so much swag to himself that sometimes I want to tell him this is a Dostoevsky character. You have
Tone
to
it
use the
down.
swag, yeah. Then there is Danish, and he does it. I mean, the thing is that it's very difficult for an actor to tell them to tone it down,
Yeah.
because when their strength is the charisma, and then you tell them, no, but this is too much charisma for this character. And then there's Danish, who definitely holds the audience with the Dastan Goi
Yes.
elements that he has. There's Anamika Tiwari, who's just very, very experienced. There's Kaustav, who's been with me in a lot of my plays. So he definitely knows and he's very good. I mean, he's a singer as well, and he also just takes direction very well. There is Girish Sharma, who's very talented, and I didn't realize that he's so they all sing, and they're all such wonderful actors, and there's Shimli Basu, who's very young, but what a powerful voice! What a voice! Yeah. So yeah.
So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a big
Now
role.
tell me, what are you most proud of in your career?
Most proud of in my career.
Yeah.
I've worn many hats, and
Yes.
I came to this city. I used to live in the Dahisar, earlier the Doshi, and share a flat, and then the Dahisar, and now 11 years ago I had my own flat, thanks to a corporate job that I had to do because I wanted to buy my house and have my savings. But I remember walking into my society, and then the chairman meeting me somewhere when I was about to take the lift, and he said, you are the owner of the house or your father? So I said, me, I'm the owner of the house. So he said, no, I wanted to ask because only members are invited for society meetings. I said, so it's me,
Yeah.
you have to, you'll be expecting. And then he said, but how come you own a house at such a young an age? And I think I was really proud of myself at that point in time, that I had been only in Bombay for 10 years, but
Yeah.
I had managed to. I came from a film school, but I was not getting to make films. I was a dancer, I was a trained percussionist, but I was not doing any of that.
You
Uh,
found your own voice.
I found my own
path.
voice because of whatever I had to do, like
Yes.
save, do a corporate job, and start my own theatre group to tell my own stories. So yeah, I think sometimes when I look back, I'm like, yeah, I wasted so many years in doing a job, and then I'm like, no, but I needed a roof over my head,
Yeah.
and I needed a space of my own, a place of my own, for my parents to feel. That their daughter could survive in the city alone, and I did it, and so yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Now, one thing that concerns all of us, especially in today's times, and as a theater person, you got to be mentally alert and physically fit. How do you manage to keep that balance?
I don't. I'm a diabetic. So I don't manage to keep that balance. I do tend to
Because
get
it
carried
can be
away with work
stress
schedules.
related.
Yes, I also may be genetic because I mean, but triggered by stress for sure.
Yeah.
I've in the last 10 years I may have earned a house, but I have lost my mother. I have lost my younger brother,
Oh.
and so it's not been a very
so sorry.
mental health has not been very fit at times. Like last year when Adim asked me to make a pitch, I was down in the dumps for no reason because my brother, I thought I had gotten over it. My brother's passing, Raghav's passing. And I have a nephew. I mean, he was born after my brother had passed away. So I thought I had gotten over it because his nephew keeps me alive and, smiling
Yeah.
and going. But for no reason, I was suddenly down in the dumps, and I was back in Lucknow, which I never do. I mean, I never go to my father running away from the city. I only go home for joyous occasions or for, of course, the most awful occasions like death. But
You have been tried.
yes, and I was so when I got that call from Nadir asking for a pitch, I was like, no, no. But then something persisted, and he also persisted. And Shanaz has always been such a good mentor, and she has always been so kind. Like for writer's block, also, she had pushed me. I had been going through a breakup at that point in time, and she had pushed me. I had withdrawn my name because I did not think I had the mental space and the energy, and with the corporate job, to go away for 2 weeks for a writer's residency.
Yeah.
And she called me and she said, don't be stupid. And she scolded me. She said, don't be stupid and you have to do this. And you're so talented and I really don't. And she scolded me. I was like, why are you scolding me? I'm heartbroken right now. Why are you scolding me?
She really
But-
brought you out.
Yeah, and then she pushed me, and then I went for the writers' residency, and then I went to Royal Court, London, and then from there I went to Curve Leicester, and then like so it was
Yeah,
like a
it's
wonderful
just snowballed
phase.
into
Yes, into
a
so
new
many things.
path.
Yes, and this
Yeah.
time also I was down in the dumps, and then she, like Nadir said, Shanaz and I, we were like, we want you to put in a pitch, and I was like, and I was literally, my father had to push me to, like, he would just, and there's nothing wrong. I would just wake up. I would not do anything throughout the day, just play with my nephew. And I'm aware of this. I'm only, maybe not even watching OTT content. I'm not finishing a book. I'm listless. I'm not coming back to the city. I'm just sitting and eating. And I'm pretending to be fine, but I'm not fine because I'm not doing anything. I'm just ensconced in my room. And my father, of course, and I'm refusing therapy, which I should not. But
so is work your medicine?
my work is my addiction, and it's not good for me because it might be my medicine, but when it becomes addiction, then
takes
it's
you
not good,
another
right?
way. Yeah.
So my father actually had to push me to say, go swimming. You like swimming? Go swimming. And I would not even take the membership. I did not take the membership. I would just go and pay the daily charges, which were exorbitant, and I would just go for 1 hour, and then it became a daily thing. But that slowly snapped me out of that. I don't know what happened, but then Nadir called, and then I started swimming. Something changed. Exercise, I guess.
Yes,
just
it does.
changes the.
Oxytocin.
And so I sent in a pitch half-heartedly. Uh, but somewhere, 1 month down the line, I was like, I hope they call me
Yeah,
back.
you're back and bouncing.
Yeah,
And
so two
how?
things happened. One was Nadir's call, and the other one was this call from this curator of the theatre festival in St. Petersburg, saying there's a seminar that they're doing, and they want to call Indian playwrights, and would you like to go for it? So you will have to send in a pitch. Like, you will have to, not the pitch, but you'll have to send in a concept note as to what you would talk about. And I was like, "Arey, like, if I have to write it, then I mean, I don't have the strength and the energy." But then I wrote it. I wrote that email. So those 2 emails I sent, and 1-pagers. I was asked for like 2-3 pager to hona chahiye, but I sent a 1-pager, and I sent in a 1-pager, and both calls came in April, or no, not April, sorry, July, August, saying that,
The wheel has turned for
yeah,
you.
the wheel has turned, and I'm so happy I went for those swimming lessons or swimming classes or whatever.
Yes, as a swimmer, I can tell you there's nothing better in the world to be in water by yourself. I mean, it's so blissful. Absolutely. You have shot all over the world. Which one place has like stayed with you and you want to go back? You can't get over it.
Where I have shot or I have been to.
You've been to, because you have been all over the
Kashmir.
world. Yeah?
Kashmir is one place that is where I want to tell a story from and a story of, because it's my own. Otherwise,
How is it your own?
Politically it should not be my own, but I mean, Kashmir is part of India. So
No, that is
in that sense,
of course, there's no arguing about that. I
Yes.
mean, any personal connection.
no, just a deep connect with the place in
Yeah.
terms of just like, at least, I mean, it's closer to me than St. Petersburg for sure.
Absolutely.
So St. Petersburg is another city in the world with
Yeah.
brilliant skyline and just beautiful. Just does something to your soul to see the river and the majestic buildings.
Yeah.
Like, Moscow completely astounds you because it's grand. It's
Oh, is it?
huge. You feel like, oh my God, what is this splendor, and what is this grandeur? Like, the buildings are huge, matlab huge. Skyscrapers, se bhi, they're like not just tall, they are vast,
Yeah.
right? And they're old, they're not new. So there's a lot of history there. And you feel like people are, like, it's just the state is watching down upon you. You get that feel. But St. Petersburg is majestic, but also beautiful and pretty at the same time. I used to have a joke that Europe is all about one church, one bridge, one river, one
Yeah,
town square.
correct.
Interiors of
Anywhere
Europe.
you
Yeah,
go.
they're pretty.
Yeah.
But it's one river,
That's it.
one
That's
one
the
little,
character.
yeah. They're tiny and they're quiet and they're petite. But St. Petersburg is both that and grand. So it's just like, I can't explain it. It's like, just you have to go there to experience it, and also the sense of history that the place has. So that I mean, then of course there's so many other cities, but yeah, I mean, St. Petersburg, Kashmir, Pahalgam, Gulmarg.
Yeah, I know. I've studied in Kashmir, so I know.
Wow, how did you do
Because
that?
my father is in the army. So,
Amazing. Which
yeah,
city?
Srinagar.
Srinagar. Which
Yes.
school?
No, I was in the college.
Okay.
So, government college. And I've
Oh,
studied there. I
wow.
know, what can I say? I always tell my brother I want to go back. I wish I could just to see
Yes,
our university
but you
by
should.
Nagin Lake. I want to do that.
Please do that.
So, coming to yourself, these are fabulous times for live performances. And what do you think is drawing people back to that madness of theatre again?
Well, I don't, I mean, yes, like,
OTT notwithstanding, people are coming, thronging
thronging for
theatres.
big events for sure.
Even theatres,
Like
aren't they?
theaters, I wouldn't say that much. We still need a better audience pool. But for live events, there is, because there is an organized sector working towards events, like, like there's so many tours now, Coldplay and Maroon, and so many Diljit Dosanjh. I mean, these live elements
Yeah.
shows touring has really become a thing, and Insta has made it, or social media has made it like the thing, the event to be at, the selfie to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
had, and to be displayed on your social media must. So that definitely is bringing people to live events, so that you need to have that must have selfie at these events. And also, I think, I mean, if I have to analyze it, I would say that our lives are becoming so insular, and so like we so are most often just in our own berms with our screens,
Yes.
and otherwise our work screens, or our entertainment screens, that sometimes going to actual stepping out to actually go and socialize. And sometimes when you don't want to socialize, but you want to just experience something, and then still be in a safe space, and still be amongst the presence of other human beings, and pick on that live energy, then theater and concerts and these become the outlet for that.
Sure. Now we're coming to the end. It's been wonderful talking to you, but now we hope that your theatre, your play will have a dazzling run, like you have named it so well, Chandni Ratein. Now, in this, now how do you envisage the future of theatre in these times of social media, AI, and techno, whatever noise?
I think just as silence enhances noise, and noise enhances silence. So the moment you have even a tiny sound, it'll tell you how much silence there is, and a moment of silence will tell you how much noise there was. I think AI and social media will only enhance the importance of theatre, even if it is in flashes, in the pan kind of a phase. But I think they will eventually push people more towards performing arts, and also the emotional catharsis that performing arts bring. Also, the non formulaic storytelling that they encourage, because even OTT is becoming very, very almost GEC plus plus.
Yeah.
So much formula, so much same story, so much the same
Algorithm,
yeah,
as
same
we've been talking.
things being
So
shown now on OTT.
finally, I'll ask you two questions. Give us three plays that we must watch, because you are all, not only are you a writer, you're also from FTII with a grand background. So recommend to us three plays or shows or films that we must watch. Books, anything that you would.
Wow, that's like tough.
I
Just
know,
three?
just three.
Then I would say, I would rather say that watch the works of certain directors rather than just one piece of work. But definitely, please read Vinod Kumar Shukla as a poet and a storyteller. Uh, Definitely read Naresh Saxena as a poet. Definitely so many, Uday Prakash, for literature. Um William Dalrymple, these authors. Definitely watch the works in theatre of Abhishek Majumdar. Read his work.
Yeah.
He's a very important playwright of our times. Um, then definitely read Tendulkar and
Yeah.
Karnad, of course. Definitely read नहीं read तो हो गया अभी definitely watch the works of I love Rajat Kapoor's work, I love Sunil Shanbag's work, I love Atul Kumar's work sometimes, a lot many times actually. Jyoti Dogra, very important
Yeah,
work.
she
Yes.
has been talked about a lot.
Yeah,
Jyoti Dogra.
and Yuki also, some very interesting work sometimes. Um, God, I'm sounding patronizing now. But I mean, I really like these directors, and I'm sure there are many more directors out there. Anamika Haksar, Anuradha Kapoor, uh, I'm forgetting his name, Abhilash Pillai, Pooja Saroop. Sometimes, I mean, I've seen two of her works and brilliant sparks of, a lot many new things, interesting things, taking risks with their, and I love directors who take risks, who are not, always trying to do the safe work. So these are the
Yeah,
works I like.
it's absolutely been a pleasure talking to you, Purva, and I hope we meet again.
Definitely watch
Again.
Chandni Raatein.
I'm definitely going to be there, and I'm sure we're going to be absolutely mesmerized by the retelling of this great story. Thank you so much.